स्वनिगममपहाय मत्प्रतिज्ञा मृतमधिकस्तुमवाप्लुतो रथस्थ धृतथ चरणो भयाच्चलद्गुर् हरिरिवहन्तुमिभं गतोत्तरीया।
ओम अज्ञान तिमिरंधस्य ज्ञान अंजन शलाकया चक्षुर उन्मिलितम येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। हरे कृष्ण। भीष्म स्तुति 6th श्लोक given in Srimad Bhagavatam 1st canto 9th chapter and text number 37. Now Srila Prabhupada mentions that Kshatriya means determination, sankalp, vow. And in this very particular situation, which Bhishma Dev is visualizing, the scene of the battlefield in Kurukshetra. Now here two Kshatriyas are there. They are standing in as enemies opposite to each other, and both have taken vow. On one side, Lord Shri Krishna, he at the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra, he took a vow that he will not take up any weapon during the war. And on the other side, Bhishma Dev, at the beginning, the day on which this particular day, just before that day, Bhishma Dev took a vow that the coming day he will fight so ferociously that either Lord Shri Krishna himself will have to take up weapon or Arjuna will have to die that day. So this was the situation. And why Bhishma Dev took up this vow? Because in fact he was criticized by Duryodhan. He was in fact insulted by Duryodhan, who blamed Bhishma Dev that he was reluctant to fight, reluctant to kill Arjuna because of his parental affection. And thus Bhishma Dev took up this vow. So this is the situation. And now Bhishma Dev is visualizing this particular the scene of the fight at this particular day. And in this particular shloka, Bhishma Dev, as a teacher, he gives us 4 principles in devotion. Now starting with the shloka. Now Bhishma Dev says, Swanigamam apahai mat pratigyam. Swanigamam. Srila Prabhupada writes, own truthfulness, fulfilling my vow. Swanigamam apahai. Apahai means nullifying his own vow, and mat pratigyam, and for fulfilling Bhishma Dev's vow. So now when Bhishma Dev, that very particular day, when he fought so violently that finally Lord Shri Krishna had to get down from the chariot as chariot wheel driver and take up the wheel of chariot in his own hand, and he was rushing towards Bhishma Dev to kill him. So in this, by this very action of Lord Shri Krishna, Bhishma Dev is saying that you finally broke your own promise. And why did you break your own promise? You broke your own promise not to save Arjuna actually. But Srila Prabhupada also writes that Lord Shri Krishna broke his own promise to please his devotee Bhishma by keeping Bhishma Dev's promise. So we see that Lord Shri Krishna, he himself, he is not just a Kshatriya, he is not just a warrior, but he is Lord himself, and he is ready to nullify his own vow in front when there is when there is comparison with the Bhishma Deva's vow. Thus Bhishma Deva is establishing this principle that Lord Shri Krishna is exemplifying by his own action that a devotee's vow is greater than Lord Shri Krishna, his own promise, his own vow. This is the reciprocation by Lord with his devotees. He keeps his devotee's position up, superior to his own position, and thus establishing this fact that love is a higher principle than dharma. Or in other words, we can say that the internal feelings are more important than what is being exhibited as a society norms. So this is the first principle in devotion, that love is higher than dharma. Next, then in the next line, Bhishma Dev says, Ritam adhikartum avapluto rathastha. Ritam, Srila Prabhupada writes, Ritam means factual, or to make the vow truthful. Ritam adhikartum avapluto rathastha. That to make the vow truthful, Lord Shri Krishna himself got down from the chariot, and thus he physically got down. That means Lord Shri Krishna took a lower position. He was standing, he got down from the chariot while Bhishma Dev, he was his devotee, he was on the chariot. Thus Bhishma Dev is establishing another principle in devotion, that Lord supports his devotee from below. Whatever may be the situation, whatever may be the circumstances, Lord is always there to support his devotee, and not just support his devotee, but Lord himself gets down physically at a lower level in front of the eyes of the world. So this is the humbleness of the Lord, and that's why Lord Shri Krishna says, he declares that ye yatha mam prapadante tam sathaiva bhajamiham. As your devotion will be, so I will, in the similar manner I will reciprocate. A devotee always wishes to be at the lotus feet of the Lord, to serve him, and similarly Lord also accepts a lower position, and he is ready to, like in this case, he is ready to be a chariot wheel driver of Arjuna. He is ready to fulfill Bhishma Dev's vow first on priority than his own vow. So this is the glorification of Bhishma Dev for Lord Shri Krishna. And further, Bhishma Dev says, Dhrita rathara charano abhyayat chalad gurur harir eva hantum ibham. So Dhrita Rath, that having got down, then he took up the chariot wheel, Ratha Charana, Abhyayat, and he went hurriedly, Chalad Guru, trampling the earth, Harireva Hantum Ibham, like a lion rushes towards its prey, elephant. So through these words, Bhishma Dev is establishing that principle, that this Bhishma Dev is visualizing that Lord Shri Krishna is running towards his devotee. It is appearing to Bhishma Dev like Acharya's write in commentary, that it is like a lover rushing towards his beloved. These are the feelings of a devotee towards his own sweet Lord. And in fact, through these words, although Lord Shri Krishna he got down and he was rushing to kill Bhishma Dev, but Bhishma Dev, he is accepting the love, he is accepting the anxiousness which the Lord is displaying by rushing towards his own devotee. the anxiousness. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Ashilasya va padratam pinashtu mam. Ashilasya va padratam pinashtu mam. Whether Lord will embrace me or he will reject me. Ashilasya va padratam pinashtu mam adarshanam mat marmhatam karotu va. Marmhatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidadhato lampato mat prana nathastu sa ev na paraha. Whether you embrace me or you reject me by not being present before me, but you will remain my Lord, you will remain my Lord forever. So these are the feelings of a devotee towards his own sweet Lord. And further, Bhishmadev says, Gat Utriyaha, that Lord was in a so angry mood that externally, and thus he dropped his outer garment, Utriya, while rushing towards Bhishmadev. And through these words, Bhishmadev is establishing that fact that he's bringing the point of focus, that Lord is even not worried about his outer garment, Utriya. That Lord is completely focused upon Bhishmadev. And this particular scene, a devotee wants to remember throughout his life. And that's why when Bhishmadev is at the time of his deathbed, he is visualizing this particular scene. Because while at one hand we see many yogis, jnanis, dhyanis, they do austerities, penances for several years just to get a glimpse of the effulgence of Lord. While on the other hand, that the effulgence which is emanating from that Supreme Lord personally here is focusing his attention upon his devotee. This is the fortunate position of a devotee. Bhishmadev is glorifying this reciprocation of Lord Shri Krishna towards his devotee. And that's why he is very carefully remembering, he is recalling this particular scene. Because this is the perfection of devotion. Lord's focused attention towards his devotee and a devotee's focused attention towards the Lord. This is the climax of devotion. And thus, we see from this particular shloka, Bhishmadev is glorifying wonderful features of Lord Shri Krishna, which are humbleness, the anxiety of the Lord towards his devotee, his support of his devotee from below, and the focused attention of Lord Shri Krishna towards his devotee. Very beautiful glorification of Lord Shri Krishna by Bhishmadev, and the very audio which we heard at the beginning of this video was in fact sung by our very Gurukul kid, Divyanshu. Very beautifully sung. This we can also remember, and we can always visualize the scene, the dealings of the devotee with Lord Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.